I mean, every year when I take down the Christmas ornaments, I get out like the Gorilla Glue. Because it's gonna, and then
You're
I
gonna
know
have to.
our kitchen island's gonna be covered with Christmas junk that's like barely hanging on until I just one day, without telling anybody, just sweep it into the trash.
I was gonna say, it's exactly
and no one knows.
Sweep it.
Didn't we have a? Nope, I don't remember, that at all.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Merry Christmas! Happy holidays! This is so weird. I'm not at all in Christmas in my head, but I'm wearing a hat. You're wearing an epic hat.
Hi, buddy. Hope you find
No,
your dad.
yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to keep this on the whole time.
I think you should.
It
I think you absolutely
doesn't even
should.
fit.
So for those listening, I'm wearing a Santa hat with sort of a cowboy brim. My man Daniel's wearing Buddy the Elf. Right there. That reminds me, a couple months ago, I went to a benefit at CODA, Circuit of the Americas. They had a Will Ferrell impersonator walking around that looks exactly like Will Ferrell. I started talking to him about like his life. You know, he's a super cool guy, like very professional when he's like backstage. When he's in front of stage, I mean, he's all just...
He's on.
Yeah. If you're not first, you're last, you know? And then we started talking about his life, and he's like, oh, man, Buddy the Elf season's coming up. That's his life. He lives in terms of, like, Buddy the Elf season.
Like Will Ferrell.
Oh,
like
exactly like Will Ferrell. If you look up just, if anybody, like Ricky Bobby impersonator, he's a dead ringer. God gave him a gift. Like, you look like a famous dude, and your livelihood will be acting like a famous guy. That's amazing. All right. Well, guys, it is December. Thank you all for listening to the podcast. Daniel doesn't look anything like Buddy the Elf, even with the hat.
No.
But we want to thank you all for, he's ditching the hat. Oh, he's going back
Every time I smile,
back to
it
the
pops
ball
off.
cap. Yeah, that's true.
It's too small.
It's like
Too small.
a little tiny pin cap on your head. All right. Like, subscribe. Thank you all for listening. All right. It is December. Just, I know it's December, but it doesn't feel like December in my head. Like, we've had so few cold days.
October was like, what, the hottest?
October was the hottest
October that we've had.
on record. We're recording this before November's completely done. We've had a couple cold days, but nothing like anything.
No.
I mean, just how few cold days we have. I was just swimming for a shoot in Village Creek, neck deep, looking for mussels hidden in the sand. It's a very weird story. I should have given you all more context, but we're in Village Creek, which is in East Texas. It wasn't that cold.
I mean, it was cold. You go, ooh, and then you get used to it.
In November, I'm like swimming.
That's crazy.
Run around. So maybe it'll get cold in December. We'll, cool down. We can start making some chili, doing all the
Chicken and
December
dumplings.
things. Chicken and dumpling. Now you're talking. Some spiked wassail. Wassail. Cider. I don't know. Hot toddies.
There you go. Hot toddy.
December traditions in Texas. I Googled December traditions thinking like, all right, I know my family's traditions. Are there any December traditions that I don't know about? The internet has a lot of dumb stuff that we don't do.
Like
That's
as
the internet.
Texans or just in general? Or?
Have you ever, Texas, like Texas traditions.
Okay.
So I think in a few of them, like make tamales, especially if you're a Hispanic family, you're going to make tamales for the holidays. I got to join one of my Mexican friends and made tamales. It was great. It's a family tradition for him, not for my family, but like I know a lot of Hispanic families make tamales. Go see lights.
Oh yeah. Every year.
And then some other ones like barbed wire wreaths.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
I mean, it sounds like a Texan thing, but do you know anyone who actually does that?
I've never seen one in my life. If I think about it, like that's different.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound Christmas.
Yeah. No.
Honestly, if you just look at a roll of barbed wire, doesn't it look like a wreath?
Exactly.
It's like a wreath of
We
barbed
do that
wire.
year round. Just leave it in the pasture to rust.
Leave it on the ground.
That's it. There's some other stuff, poinsettias, but I think those are the world,
Did
right?
you say poinsettia?
Poinsettias.
Oh.
If you go look, okay, this is one thing. My family always said, is it, what is for you, poinsettia or poinsettia?
Oh, we've always just said poinsettia.
Let me look at this.
I know it's not spelled just like that, but
Yeah. So it is poinsettia.
Poinsettia.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's an I.
You made it Spanish. Poinsettia.
Poinsettia. Poinsettia.
No. No.
But we do that. Is that a Texan thing, though?
I don't know if that's Texas, but I mean, obviously the plant is a regional plant to some sort of area.
Something. You have any weird Christmas traditions in your fam?
I don't know if it's overly weird, but at one point, probably when I was like in middle school or high school, I got a Nutcracker as like, hey, here's a Nutcracker.
Yeah.
I think my mom was probably the first one to do it. And then after that, it was like, hey, another year, another Nutcracker.
Oh, no.
Pretty soon, people start going, oh, Daniel's
Nutcrackers. The Nutcracker kid.
The next thing I know, I have probably over 100 Nutcrackers now. It's not like one a year. I'm getting like multiple. Every family member's like,
wait, you have 100 Nutcrackers at your house? That
probably more. I don't even know. I've got so many, and a lot of them, unfortunately. Well, at first we were like, what are we doing with all these? Because Jordan married into this club.
Yeah.
Right?
Not her choice.
She didn't know what she was getting into. And I thought it was kind of funny. And then eventually it was like, you know what? It gives us something to decorate with. So we put Nutcrackers everywhere.
Lean into it. We're the Nutcracker guy. Like you put Nutcrackers on your bathroom sink?
We put them on everything.
Every flat surface.
If you've got like a windowsill, if you've got the top of the fridge, above the cabinets,
put a Nutcracker on it.
It doesn't matter where. They're everywhere, man.
I need to come see your place. And
it's crazy.
I had a friend growing up, Zach Scalf, who was Nutcracker guy.
He was the Nutcracker
he was
guy.
like, that was his thing. And that was the first time I'd seen that many Nutcrackers in my life. But it sounds like you've outdone Zach Scalf.
Unfortunately, they normally go in the attic for storage. Okay. And Texas attics get hot.
Dude.
And so the glue kind of starts. So every year we take them out and we're like, how many did we lose?
Oh,
and this year we lost probably 10.
Just because like their arms,
just like missing limbs. The hat is actually the whole head attached to that and the whole thing. And we've glued a lot to fix them.
You try.
At some point, you're like, this one's done.
It's done. I mean, every year when I take down the Christmas ornaments, I get out like the Gorilla Glue. Because it's gonna, and then
you're gonna have to.
Our kitchen island's gonna be covered with Christmas junk that's like barely hanging on until I just one day, without telling anybody, just sweep it into the trash.
I was gonna say exactly,
and no one knows.
Sweep it.
Didn't we have a? Nope, I don't remember that at all.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah. So anyway, we are in December. I hope everybody's going to have a happy holidays, a Merry Christmas. This thing ain't stopping. We're just going to roll right through it. You got anything on your Christmas list?
I don't really make Christmas lists anymore.
A SpaceX rocket?
If somebody said, hey, I'm going to pay a bill for you for Christmas, I'd say, you are a saint.
Yeah, kiss
and
them right on the lips.
Best Christmas present I could ever imagine.
Yeah, so a stocking full of cash, cold hard cash. You can send that to Daniel. I got his address.
Send cash. I'll take checks.
Hardcore. Oh, yeah.
Checks too.
Western Union?
We've got kids, man.
Cashier's checks.
Our money goes to them, unfortunately.
Dude, no. Yeah.
Buy me toilet paper.
They're not going to.
We're always running out of toilet paper.
Very sensible gift. A very sensible gift. All right. Hey, let's pause and thank one of our sponsors. And this is a true thank you to one of our sponsors. So y'all know Don Hewlett Chevrolet sponsors the podcast. We've been able to, in our, almost a decade relationship with the Hewlett family. We got to know all of them. And we recently lost a great one. Don Hewlett himself passed away last month. And he could not have left a bigger impact or legacy here in Georgetown. And so this is a thank you of gratefulness to the Hewletts, the Hewlett family. Yes, they support our show and the podcast financially, but more than that, you're not going to have ever found a bigger supporter of the Georgetown community than Don Hewlett himself. I knew him. He was already retired. He was in his 80s. And man, I got to spend some time with him. He always had stories. He was one of those old timers. He had a story about everything. I got to sit next to him at like some Boy Scout banquets. This is what I remember him saying. It was hilarious. This was one of his jokes, but it was a good one. He was a big supporter of the Scouts, but never made Eagle Scout. And if you asked him why, he said, well, the fumes got to me. What? The car fumes and the perfumes. That was it. Everything. Yeah. So he was on a track to accomplish a lot in life until the fumes got to him. But he was married to his wife, Patty, for so long. 3 wonderful boys who are now leading the dealership. And he just set such a standard for philanthropy, community support, not just selling cars, but loving the customers and loving the community you're in. So thank you, Don Hewlett. You've set quite a standard for us to follow, and we're going to spend all our time here in the great city of Georgetown trying to live up to the standard you set. So thank you very much. If y'all need a car, donhewlett.com. But that's all we're going to say about that. This is mostly gratefulness.
You want to see some really cool cars? He left behind a little collection of some awesome cars that are right there in their showroom.
Yes, he's got the first edition Corvette sitting in the showroom. White, red interior, convertible.
Pretty. And then an old truck as well.
Yep, the old truck is there.
Those were his.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they've just been in storage, and then now they're out to show. So really cool.
Yeah, if you're a car person, go in, look at the Corvette in the showroom, and then the outside is covered in like 10 or 12 new C8 Corvettes too. So you can compare. You can compare. All right, Daniel. Well, let's fill everybody in on what we've been up to recently. We've just done 2 new episodes for them.
We did. So we filmed 2 new episodes.
Do you remember where they are?
Do I remember? Well, yeah, no. Let's see. We filmed them in the last 2 weeks in a row, and I haven't been home to see my family in a while. So we went out to Plano. And we go through that area quite a bit. Like, I feel like, me personally, but also on the shoot, we're always up in DFW going to different things.
Yeah.
So it was cool to do a Plano episode.
We got
to do a lot of stuff there. I have never been to Legacy Food Hall.
Oh, dude.
And I kept thinking, you're like, okay, it's like a mall food court. It's like a mall food court on steroids.
Yeah.
It's 3 floors, I think 3 stories tall.
They got brewery in there.
But it's a standalone
live music
building.
Venue. Yeah, it's
huge.
It's enormous. And the food is
I was going to say, that is what really just sets it apart. It's not mall food.
No.
This is like good food.
Well, what were the mall staples growing up? We had a corn dog 7 in our mall.
You always
some Asian, like there was your just
random
generic Chinese restaurant,
something,
and somebody be sampling orange chicken as you walk by. I like orange chicken.
I mean, it wasn't bad, but it was not. You wouldn't say, "Oh, it's delicious."
They were all kind of about the same,
stereotypical.
There'd be maybe a pizza place.
Yeah, they'd have to have a pizza place. They'd have a burger place.
Yeah,
there was always like a Great American Cookie Company.
Great American Cookie Company.
I mean, which that one is like, oh, this is amazing. And you eat more than a few bites, and you're like, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So much sugar.
So we had lobster rolls. We had duck fat fried chicken.
They had a sushi place.
Indian
food.
Yep. Oh, man. Oh, the waffle place. Dude.
Authentic Belgian waffles.
Yeah. Plano's going to be fun. And not only that, we visited the house from the television show Dallas.
We did.
Yeah.
South Fork
Ranch. Got to ride horses there. And then more recently, we just got back from Jasper,
Texas. We talked about going there for a long time, and people always have some, interesting opinions on it. And we got to do a deep dive into some history that goes way back, some history that's more recent.
Yep.
And we had some amazing food, talked to some amazing people. It blew my expectations of the whole town out of the water, and I think it's a great place.
Yeah,
with great people.
That was it. The people there lived through the frenzy of the killing of James Byrd, which happened in '98. They lived through it and sort of felt like their town got ransacked by this political agenda that wanted to make it a media story, and it was a media story. It was a horrible tragedy, but it portrayed Jasper as this horribly racially divided town, and that's not the truth, and that's not what we found at all. It's a very diverse town, 50% black, 50% white. There's some Hispanic in there, but they're I don't want to say it's perfect, by no means perfect, but they're saying we are so racially integrated, and the media thought that we were the bastion of the new Confederacy. That was a Dan Rather quote.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for the Jasper episode. It's going to be eye-opening for a lot of people because people still shudder when they hear Jasper.
They do. And I mean, we talked about it for so long because it was one of those things where how much do we want to go into this? We want people to visit cities. So there's no point in going through every town we go to and finding the bad things that have happened in that town. Every town has bad stuff. But this was more recent. And it was on a national level.
It was specifically horrible. It was. But yeah,
it couldn't be ignored.
It became anything anyone knew Jasper for.
Yes.
Jasper was just, maybe people knew it, maybe they'd never heard of it, and then all of a sudden it becomes like this. There's been a few American tragedies, and once they happen, it's hard to separate the town from the tragedy.
Yeah.
And it was unfair. It was unfair for Jasper. Columbine, Sandy Hook, or horrible things.
Yeah, like there's just places that's what you think of. And I think we're going to help break the stereotype.
Yeah,
like there's no reason to forget the past. You need to remember the past. But as you move forward in the future, let's focus on great things and advancing.
Yeah.
And they want to build an amazing town. They've got a lot of cool stores, but there's lots of room for growth there.
Yep.
And, plenty of reasons to visit.
Dude, we went to a buffet a country buffet that's been around for 40 years. Dude,
that was good food.
That was good food.
That was so good.
A bistro that's like, it's owned by this wonderful couple, like making New Orleans style beignets, and you sit on the street. It was good.
That was some great food.
It was good stuff. Also, we hiked to an abandoned sawmill. What was that? What was your
little creepy? I tried to pretend like it wasn't, and then as we were there, I was like, okay, this is a little strange,
dude.
Like,
it's a concrete ruins in the middle of the forest.
And when you say the middle, you mean the middle? Like,
yeah.
We hiked for a long time, and y'all were like, "Oh, it's up there." And I'm like, I see trees. I don't see anything. And then all of a sudden I go, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Dude, you need no set dressing. It's a horror movie today.
Absolutely.
Horror. Like
just horror movie.
It hasn't changed since I was a kid. Like that's exactly what it's always been.
Golly.
And it's beer.
Yeah, but no things like that in Texas. That's cool.
It was cool. It was a blast. It was an absolute blast. So y'all stay tuned. New episodes in February. Plano. Here's the new ones: Karnes County, Bulverde, Plano, Jasper.
Yep,
gonna be a good little run there.
Those will be airing in February.
Yep. So stay tuned. All right, Daniel. Meanwhile, in Texas.
While you've been listening to this podcast, lots of stuff's been going on in the Lone Star State. This is Meanwhile in Texas.
Let's go. What you got?
Meanwhile in Texas. I love the little intro that we do right before it.
Yeah, we don't ever get to hear it.
We don't get to hear it.
No.
Y'all just listen to that. Y'all heard it. We didn't hear it.
Yeah.
But I remember it. So, okay. So do you know where the tallest live Christmas tree is in Texas?
In Texas?
In Texas. And I said live.
The largest live in the country, I'd think like Rockefeller Center or maybe something crazy in Vegas. In Texas?
Yeah.
I'm going to say in front of the Capitol.
That's a great guess.
Yeah.
It's not right.
Oh, come on.
So
sounds good.
I think you're right. Probably one of the largest in the country has always been pretty much Rockefeller.
Yeah.
Anybody who's been in New York, it's a massive tree.
Live
they do that
tree.
Like every year, huge tree.
Yeah.
Right there at the skating rink, right?
Uh-huh.
So we actually have a bigger one in Texas than that.
Yeah,
this year.
we do. Because
2024. Texas. Big. So the 78th annual Fort Worth Community Christmas Tree, 78th annual. They started this in, 1947? Nice. So this tree is going to be delivered on, which pretty close here, November the 25th.
Okay.
All right. It's delivered to the Sundance Square from northern Michigan. It's like 2,000 miles away. They drive this tree. It is an 82-foot Norway
Texas,
spruce.
Yeah. It's an 82-foot tall tree.
82-foot.
Is that taller than Rockefeller?
It is actually 8 feet taller than the one in Rockefeller.
Heck yeah, it is.
Man, that crazy.
So
82
Fort Worth,
feet.
They're putting it where? Sundance Square?
Sundance Square, they have a place that they do this every year. And I guess this year's just a little bit bigger.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Bigger in Texas.
So right now they've been painting decorations for quite a while. The ball. So normally a Christmas decoration ball is what, like a baseball size for most of us?
Yeah.
Roughly.
Yeah.
Maybe even up to like a softball size. Theirs are like bigger than a beach ball.
Nah.
Each individual ornament is like beach ball size. And so people are individually painting in the area. They do it every year.
Oh, that's fun.
So,
okay.
Really cool.
Add it to the list. We're going to Fort Worth.
Yep.
We're going to Fort Worth.
Lighting is on December the 3rd. So
okay.
You can actually
mark it.
See them do it.
It's a couple days from now. Hopefully you're listening to this podcast on time.
Yeah.
All right.
What'd you find?
Here's what I found. This is kind of crazy. So it's the holidays. Everybody's making food. were preparing local delicacies, the family traditions. You can smell the ham. Well, there was a man in Houston who decided he was going to make himself a big bowl of turtle soup.
Wait, what?
But the problem, yeah, no. So turtle soup is classic. I've never actually had it. I watched Ninja
I've heard
Turtles.
of it,
That's
but
all I was like,
that's-
we're going to turn you into turtle soup. Well, like we did the show in Menard. They ate lots of turtles. Turtle
They
soup
did say that.
was a classic at the Minger Hotel historically. So the problem is this dude didn't have any turtles, and he was eating at a restaurant called Cedar Creek in Houston, and he ordered a beer, sat down, he was drinking his beer, and he thought, turtle soup sounds pretty good. And he looked at the creek, and there were turtles there.
No.
So he went down, grabbed some turtles, put them in a ice chest or something, drank his beer, and left. Well, the restaurant started looking around. Turns out all those turtles had names. They
Oh
were
my
the like
gosh.
he took Big Mama, some other ones. Some of them were named after some TV characters, and so they found out like this guy just took our turtles. They had his name from the credit card he paid with, and they start tracking him down. The manager calls, "Hey, those are our turtles. Bring them back." He's like, "Public property," and they're already in the pot.
You've got to be kidding.
And he had posted some videos like turtle soup coming up. Anyway, I guess he started to feel bad. So after some hostage negotiations, he decided to return the turtles to the restaurant. And now they are safely back in the creek. But it made me think like,
What?
I mean, I get it. These were their special turtles. But I mean, he was hungry. You can just, I was like,
You don't
can you
go to
not,
the creek and just get
can you not?
turtles?
Well, I mean, if you're hungry, it's not like we have a shortage of turtles around, Daniel. Like, I'm kind of for this guy. He wanted
No, you're
turtles.
not.
Yeah, he wanted turtles. There's turtles in the creek. Help yourself. Help yourself. So they called Texas Parks and Wildlife, and they're like, how can we stop this guy? He's like, no, there's no season. You only need a license and permission. And he was like, public waterway. It's a creek, the public creek. And despite the fact that these were named, he's hungry. He's hungry, Daniel.
But there's other things to eat, Jed.
Well, I'm not. Okay, look, turtle soup sounds disgusting, but I'm not making a judgment call on what he's eating. Just can he eat it or not? I mean, I'm like, sure. I mean, do you think what he did was wrong?
I think that's very strange. I don't know if it's wrong. I guess maybe there's a difference in like what is legal and what is.
Yeah, if he
I
did
don't want to
something
get into
illegal,
moral,
if he did
ethical,
something
it's-
illegal, that's obviously wrong. But
Okay, just because you
It's
can
turtles.
doesn't mean you should.
okay, valid.
Maybe
point.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
Valid point. I'm sort of thing like, hey, look, we got no shortage of turtles. The man's hungry. Like, teach a man to fish a turtle. You teach him to eat forever. He can make his turtle soup all he wants. I'm good. I'm good with it.
That is so weird.
I'm good with it. Hopefully, he found a different turtle. But the article's funny because it used words like stolen. These were public. These were like creek turtles.
They were in the creek behind a restaurant.
Yeah. Yes.
So like from the restaurant, you see this creek. Is it
I guess, and people would feed them. So,
Okay.
whatever. They got attached. They got a little too attached to a wild critter. Or in other words, like kidnapped. Like, it's a
Okay,
turtle.
I wouldn't say kidnapped, but-
It's a turtle. Come on now.
No, what if he just showed up and started stealing pigeons from the parking lot? Are people going to care?
Yeah, exactly. No. What if he's harvesting rattlesnakes and eating them? Rattlesnake, pretty good.
I think the place you get them from is what makes it strange.
You have to have permission,
Yeah.
on private land.
But that wasn't private.
Evidently. I don't know. I don't know.
Whatever.
I mean, I think the man wants turtles. Let him eat turtles. Catch as many as you want. Go for it. Abundant food source, and we're worried about people starving. And no, go find a turtle, eat it. That's my thought. All right, okay. So we're gonna go to our new segment this month in Texas history. This one, Daniel. What if we weren't called Texas, but instead our name was Fredonia?
Wait, what?
It almost happened.
No, it didn't.
Okay, the story goes back to Nacogdoches, December 1826. All right. There was independence declared from Mexico, and the whole region was named the Republic of Fredonia.
What is Fredonia?
I think it means freedom, maybe.
Okay.
pending on that. Well, here's the story. So we are Mexico at that point. Settlers are starting to get upset with the Mexican government. There's this guy. He's a white Anglo impresario named Hayden Edwards. Okay. Just like SFA, Stephen F. Austin was an impresario. But this guy, Edwards, his region is East Texas. Well, he gets involved in some shady business. The Mexican government strips him of his impresario title. And he says, well, fine, I'm declaring independence. So he gets some in. He takes over the government capital, and which was like, it was one stone building, like takes it over, declares independence. He's like, we did it, boys. He writes the U.S., hey, we need some troops. They're like, nope. He writes Stephen F. Austin, hey, come support. And Stephen F. Austin's like, nope. And then he's like, oh, dang. So he gets left out high and dry. Eventually, a big group of Mexican soldiers and Texan soldiers who were like, this dude's crazy. Like, let's just get him out. They go, they take it back. Hayden runs away to the United States, and basically the peace is restored for the time being. But they say that this event, a lot of people think this was actually the start of the Texas Revolution. Now, it was about a decade early, but still, it like laid the groundwork. It was like, hey, I mean, maybe we should try again. The Mexican government got freaked out, saw this, started putting the pressure on. The settlers started not allowing less and less settlers to come in from the U.S. So they kind of saw the writing on the wall. This guy, Hayden, just a little too early. And a shady character. Like, he didn't exactly inspire, inspiration.
He wasn't a Fredonia kind of person.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
We needed Sam Houston to give us a little bit of that Fredonia. So, but it is the Fredonia Rebellion.
It's a thing.
This month in Texas history.
Wow.
Hey, it doesn't have the same ring to it. Fredonia forever. Well, that's not that bad.
It's all right.
All right. Okay. So there's your Texas history lesson. Let's move on to the Texas Music Minute. So, guys, this is where we bring y'all a new artist, maybe an old artist who's making music. This is a guy, Daniel and I love him. His name is William Beckmann.
Oh, I know that.
We like William Beckmann.
I kind of discovered him. I don't know.
In terms of me, yes, you did. You did.
No, I mean like everybody.
In terms of everybody.
I don't know anybody who's heard of him until I told
them. Well, dude, you did find him, and tell people how that came up.
Well, yeah. We were making a documentary about bourbon. Mm-hmm. And in the process of talking about said bourbon, I was like, I got to find a song about bourbon.
Yep.
And I started doing some searches, and some guy had just come out with a song called Bourbon Whiskey. I really wanted to use it, and it just didn't pan out for our edit.
Yeah.
So we didn't get to, but I listened to that song over and over and over.
Drinking bourbon whiskey.
He
was really cool because he's got that throwback voice.
He does.
You know? So William Beckmann, he's only 28.
That's crazy.
He's still only 28.
Doesn't sound 28.
When you found him, he was like 13.
Right?
I think. No, it was like a couple years ago. So he was like, 25 maybe. He's from Del Rio. He was raised on classic country, mariachi, norteño sounds. He sings songs in Spanish too. Mm-hmm. He's a white kid, but he dabbles back and forth between the two languages. It's really cool to see. And he's just released new music. This one's called Borderline Crazy. For your listening enjoyment, here it is, Borderline Crazy.
Cigarette smoke, cold Pacifico beer. That's all I've known since she left me. The bartenders know when I walk in here, I'd stay forever if they'd let me. Wasting my money, spending all my time, going halfway out of my mind. South of the Rio Grande, lost in some nowhere town, trying to stay so high. Never come down. Half of me wants her back, half of me could let her go. I don't even care right now, so what does that make me? Borderline crazy down in Mexico.
Good tune.
Awesome. But you know what? You said he was white kid. I mean, he is white kid, but still, he's actually got Hispanic heritage on both sides of his family.
Well, there you go.
I read a lot into his bio. Like he said he grew up speaking Spanish around the house even.
Oh, well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
From Del Rio.
My correction. I think for Del Rio, you got to know some Spanish.
You would have to know.
So, but he does have Hispanic heritage. That's cool. That's super cool. Well, William Beckmann, great artist. Look him up. He's coming to the Two-Step Inn here in Georgetown in April.
He is.
I've got him on my list to listen to for shizzle. All right, guys. Another sponsor break here as we thank the Talkin County History Museum. So, Daniel, have you ever done the Ancestry.com genealogy thing?
I have. Deep dive into it.
It's
learned a little too much.
A little too, yeah. Legit. My mom, I was asking my mom questions. She goes, Chet, some doors you don't want to open if you don't want to know what's behind it.
Oh, no.
I said, okay.
Well, I didn't learn anything
mind.
bad. It was just kind of like, oh my gosh, eye-opening, all these different heritages.
Yeah.
I had no clue.
So I was told, just don't ask about stuff. I mean, of course, I learned a lot of really interesting things too. And then there were some places like, we don't go down those.
Like, wait,
those
Dad?
trees, those branches got clipped off, and we're not. Okay, all right. Anyway, if you want to do genealogy yourself, Talkin County has a free one-on-one session available the first Saturday of every month from 10 to noon at the museum. So if you're in Talkin County, anywhere up in the DFW area, or you want to make a special trip, these are like personalized sessions, because I know this gets a little overwhelming. It can. I mean,
absolutely.
Especially like if you're not comfortable navigating all the Ancestry.com, 23andMe, it's very interactive. It's not super intuitive sometimes, so these people can help a lot. Also in December, they are having a pre-release of a third edition of a book written by Helen Hall, all about McKinney history, called The Way It All Began. So if you're super into McKinney history, look that up. You can learn more about all this at talkincountymuseum.org.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
There we go. Okay. Here's a lot of people's favorite parts. Questions from the back seat.
Are we there yet? Hey, can you pass me the snacks? When are we gonna stop? I gotta go.
All right. This was one I thought it would give us a good opportunity to talk about, educate the viewers a little bit. This kind of came from a lady named Robin Ruth McAfee and Thor Refner. Have y'all done a show on Texas wines? And do you like red or white?
Oh, that's a great question.
Okay. Well, have we done one about all Texas wines? No. We've stopped at wineries before and gotten like their personal story, their family story, what they do well. But I think it would be fascinating to do a deeper dive into Texas wine, because it's, the industry's not that old.
No.
I mean, compared to like Europe. Or Napa, we're still sort of finding our feet a little bit here in Texas, what grows well, climate, soil, all the different things that go into making like that historically good wine. But we've narrowed it down and we're doing pretty darn good.
In certain categories.
Yeah, in certain categories.
For
like
sure.
we're winning the biggest awards of the biggest awards.
Yeah.
In certain categories.
In Tempranillo, for example.
Tempranillo. Yeah, so this is something you need to know if you're going to drink Texas wines. We don't do everything well. And we certainly don't have the same climate as California. So if California has done an amazing job teaching us that Cabernet Sauvignon and Chardonnay are the best of all wines, that's just their marketing. It's not true. So don't go in and think, I want a Texas Chardonnay. We don't do don't do it. But if you want like a Texas Viognier, that's a better white Texas wine. So you got to sort of adjust your palate a little bit, or not necessarily your palate, adjust what you're looking for.
Expectations.
Adjust your expectations. And learn about the grapes that grow in Texas, because in my personal opinion, they're better.
That's a bold statement.
I mean, you get like those big cabs from Napa, and after half a glass, I'm kind of bored with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's just me, though. I mean, am I biased? Of course, I'm super biased. Yes.
I've known you for so long now, and I feel like if it has Texas next to it, you're going to have a preference for it.
I mean,
so like,
it's in my DNA, Daniel. I cannot revolt against my biology.
I'm a very Texan. You know? But if I'm drinking wine, typically I go to like a Sonoma
California cab.
But hey, if I'm going to drink a Texan wine, I know what I want to find.
Yep.
And that's what's cool. Like, try it all, you know? And everybody has different palates, so they should try them all and see what they like the best.
Sure. Like Tempranillo is my favorite red wine. And then Viognier or Sauvignon Blanc, we do some of that well. Like, that's my favorite white. Just I find that it's just more interesting.
Yeah.
Like a little bit more spicy or a little bit more floral, fruity. Like I like it to play and dance on my tongue.
I just love how Texas environment, the soil, everything can change so drastically a flavor profile. Because we also see that in whiskeys too.
Oh, totally.
Texas whiskey completely different based on the heat, especially. You know, the way it ages things.
Yep. And then, aging down in the valley or aging in the panhandle. Like, we found our sweet spot, the best wines. There's a lot of wine in the hill country, wineries in the hill country, but the best grapes are coming out of the South Texas plains, like Brownfield, south of Lubbock.
Yeah.
A place where not much else is going on, but they're growing the best grapes ever.
It's crazy.
I know. It's fun. So, the second question, white or red?
I go red.
Okay. I go white.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like a good red wine, but I got to be in the mood. White, to me, has a lot more application.
So you would drink it cold.
Yeah.
And I like room temperature wine, so that's why I go red.
I like cold because I'm gonna be sitting outside, and in Texas it's 112 degrees year round.
Quick. So bottle or box?
Oh, I mean, easily bag. I'll just ditch the box, and you get the catheter bag.
Just
that's what I like.
Take it out of the box and hang it on an IV pole and just walk around with a straw.
That's it. Okay, this comes from Holly Escobar. Best bang for your buck for children's educational outdoor activities.
Ooh, educational.
Yes, but outdoor.
Well, I mean, you learn a lot just through nature. So, I mean, if you've got somebody that can help kind of guide you, I mean, you could learn a lot through all kinds of things.
I took my wallet out right here. Here's the best deal in all of Texas. Don't look at my credit card numbers. Look at this. Boom. I just renewed this. See what this is? It's a Texas State Park Pass.
Yeah.
This sucker was like $60, and my entire family gets into every state park for free for the year.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. So, Holly, this is the best thing. Just take your kids outside. Every chance to go outside is an educational chance. You're going to encounter a frog, a lizard, a different kind of leaf. We were hiking. We found that snake.
We did.
I think is awesome.
Plus, there's tons of different things where you can like learn by reading while you're there.
Totally.
Things like animals to look for, different kind of plant species. And a lot of parks will have a thing where they'll say, hey, meet us out at this time, this place.
Yes.
And they'll do like different tours and guides. And
Junior Texas Ranger. You can get a park ranger.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's like the actual Texas Rangers.
I know. I knew what you meant when you said the park ranger. Yeah.
That'd be fun. Like a kids Texas Ranger program. You get to ride around.
Dress like Chuck Norris. And, kick doors
down. Investigate crime scenes. Like they take you to the real thing.
Okay, not a thing.
All right, Holly. It's Texas Park Pass. That's it. All right. This was another fun one. I had to look this up. Hey, what's the oldest indoor movie theater in Texas? The Rio in Center, Texas, has to be in the top 10. Well, I don't know about the Rio, but I did find the oldest continually operating movie theater in Texas is, drumroll please, the Cliff Tex Theater in Clifton, Texas.
Okay.
So Clifton is northwest of Waco, maybe an hour outside of town. And they have a theater that has been running movies since 1916.
Whoa.
I honestly thought they'd be older than that, but 1916.
Continually operating is a big deal.
Let's talk about movies. Like, movies didn't come out really before that. So there are older theaters in Texas, but they are like opera houses.
Yes.
And they weren't intended to be movie theaters. They became movie theaters, and a lot of like performance centers added a movie screen later. So I think there's some stuff that's older than this, but not much at all.
That's crazy.
If you look at the outdoor, it's like the sign advertises we have talkies. You know, like they used to call, like when silent films became talking films, they called them talkies. And so it's like, we have talkies. Hey.
Wow.
Well, the theater had to install sound systems, which previously they didn't have that. Isn't that crazy?
That's so cool.
Talkies. Come on down. We got your newest talkie movies. I love it. Okay. So we love the questions. Y'all, reminder, send them in. Leave a comment anywhere. We love them. We love them. So keep them coming. All right. Next up, fan rants and musings.
Hey, Daytripper, I got a bone to pick with you.
Oh my goodness, it's the Daytripper. We love your show.
We got some good ones here. This one's kind of like just information, right?
Okay.
So this Deborah Arthur loved our episode we did in Colorado where we visited the parts of Colorado that used to be Texas.
Okay.
So we went to Buena Vista and went rafting and hiking and all kinds of stuff in what used to be Texas before 1850 when it got chopped up and got turned into other states. So she said, I enjoyed this. I was traveling through Wyoming, heading back to Texas, and on a whim, I decided to stop in Rawlins, Wyoming, and found an actual marker for the northern border of the Republic of Texas. So Texas was so big, it went through Colorado all the way up to Wyoming. And evidently at some point, we put a marker there that said this was the northern border, the extent of the northern border.
Wow.
She sent pictures. It looks just like a Texas historic marker. Just thought she would share. It's pretty fun. Reminded me of your episode. Like, that's awesome.
That's really cool.
I think we're just giving notice to the people who live there that this is ours, and at some point we're going to come back and claim it. Just be ready.
Be ready.
Just be ready. You're just on notice that at any moment it's coming back home.
Oh, man.
I know. Actually, all of America. And he said, come on,
Yeah.
eventually. All right. Here we go. Blake Bratton. He's not so happy. He just watched our Denison episode, which Denison is on YouTube. You should watch it.
I already know where this is going to go.
Our episode, I mean, Denison is right there on the Oklahoma border. And we had a running joke throughout the whole episode that we were going to end up in, if we weren't careful, we were going to end up in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Which for a Texan would be the worst possible thing that could happen to us. All right. So I watched the episode. This is what he says. And I'm really surprised how much you and your crew put down Oklahoma. We Oklahomans are proud of our state, and North Texas loves us too. Don't get it. We are neighbors. We think very alike. Sorry you feel so sad about us. He didn't write that, but it actually said, Dory, you feel this way. So he's from Oklahoma. We have to forgive the bad grammar. We understand. So this is all a joke, Blake. Don't take it personally. It was all a joke. I love Oklahoma. Oklahoma's got some beautiful places and wonderful people. Some of my friends used to live in Oklahoma. They're from Oklahoma, but it's fun to make fun of y'all. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
And we would love it if y'all would make fun of us too. Like, don't.
Oh, trust me.
Don't get that
they
little
make
brother
fun of us.
complex, you know. And I know football season didn't turn out so good for y'all in the SEC as well as it did for us. We feel real bad about that.
So bad.
So bad.
So bad.
No, I appreciate this. Hopefully everyone knew it was a joke.
I think that most people know that it's a joke, and it is not us that made up this joke by any means. Yeah. No, it's all, good-natured fun.
Oh, totally.
I'm a big fan of, don't make fun of people with things that they can't change, and you could always move. So, just saying.
Just saying. Just saying. All right, this last one's hilarious. This came from YouTube. It says this, hey, Chet, my parents do not speak English very well, but we really enjoy watching as a family every time a new episode of the Daytripper comes on YouTube. My mom yells out, hey, Comelon has a new episode. I'm like, Comelon? I don't know what that means. She said, just in case you don't know, Comelon translates to the big eater, or the guy the guy who eats a lot in Spanish. I'm like, yes, I'm going to get that on a shirt. El Comelon. I was like, that is awesome. Now, they may not understand half of what you say at times, but they do enjoy watching you and the crew's crazy antics. Big fans. Y'all stay safe and keep on day tripping.
That's cool.
That's amazing.
Really cool.
I am now furthermore going as El Comelon. You shall refer to me as El Comelon. I love it. The guy who eats a lot.
I think the new phrase with the kids now is big back.
Oh, I know.
So,
yeah, he's a big back.
You're a big back.
I'm the big back. I get it. Yep. Just the big back. All right, we're going to end on that. Thank you to our sponsors, Don Hewlett Chevrolet, the Collin County History Museum. We couldn't do this podcast without them. Thank you to Alex Fort, our mix master, the producer on this thing. Y'all join us next time. Have a very Merry Christmas. We'll see you all on the other side of the new year.
Absolutely. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
And vaya con Dios, amigos.